And welcome inside the Backstage Pass, a brand new day of shows and a brand new week as of yesterday. We began the week with Pepper Brooks on the show. And of course, we added more, like we needed more this week, but we did add more coming up here on the Backstage Pass presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey, bangtail.com, the official whiskey of the Backstage Pass. And of course, the Caden Gordon Show.com, today's best country mix. And of course, Valentine's Day coming up. Jewelry by Tommy. Get your wife's significant other some great jewelry out there, too. We'll talk more about that as the broadcast goes on. KKTC, True Country, 99.9. And, of course, out there, hightidecountry.net. And always powered by the Sports Guys, podcast.com. Some exciting news we'll talk about as we come back from break to About Country Radio Seminar and how we factor into that equation this year. But she's got a new single across all the platforms, or at least new to me. Maybe not to some of you guys, came out in October. Lexi James to the Backstage Pass. Lexi, how you doing?
I'm good. How about you?
It's been a good day. We've actually talked.
We have. It's been a great day for you.
Yeah, it's been really good, no doubt, too. We'll have some information on that throughout the show, but I want to get right to it. You talked about definitely being from the East Coast, up around, Boston and Massachusetts, right there, growing up in a small town. Yeah. I want to know, and the audience wants to know, the connection to music from a young age. Tell us about that.
So I've always loved music. I was exposed to all kinds of music from a really young age. My mom played us everything. I mean, me and my siblings were listening to like NSYNC and Britney Spears. That's the stuff I grew up with. But we were listening to the Eagles and Michael Jackson and Aerosmith and Meatloaf and just everything. Mm-hmm. We grew up listening to everything. And I didn't really get into country until I was in elementary, middle school. I remember very specifically my older sister, had bought Tim McGraw's Live Like You Were Dying album. Oh, yeah. And that was the first country album that I listened to top to bottom. And I just was like, this is really cool. Mm-hmm. And I just fell in love from there.
So getting hooked on that too, because that was a great album too. And a lot of people know that 90s country really shaped it to the way it is today with Absolutely. The Tim McGraws and of course Tracy Lawrence, Clay Walker, George Strait. I mean, it goes on and on with the names that are there synonymous with it. For 90s country outside of Tim McGraw, I'm sure other artists kind of shaped it for you now and maybe the kind of sound you're looking for as an artist too. Talk about how important that is, because I really feel like I talked to Zach Top the other day here on the show. That hunger, that thirst, or whatever you want to call it, is coming back to the industry right now.
Oh, it is. I grew up listening for country. I mean, I started with Tim McGraw, then I got really hooked on like Rascal Flatts, Sugarland, that kind of stuff. I did grow up listening to like Shania Twain because she was also big in that 90s era too. Mm-hmm. But I definitely agree with you. I mean, it went kind of like country's kind of had all these phases where it was the kind of like early 2000s vibe. Then it went to kind of like a pop bro country vibe for a little bit. Now it's kind of coming back to that early 2000s, late 90s feel, which I'm really excited about because that was some of my favorite country music personally.
When you look at going through the challenges of being an artist, a lot of fans can kind of see, what goes on in front of the camera, or they go out there, they purchase the CDs or stream the music or buy it online through Spotify and some of the different streaming platforms out there, go to the concerts, buy the tickets, things of that nature. But the challenges fans may not see behind the scenes. Talk about some of those and what it's like to go through those challenges, especially as a female artist.
Yes. There are a lot of challenges, and it's not singular to country music either. It's just the entire entertainment industry as a whole. Definitely for me in particular, when I was first starting out, there was that like people from New England don't sing country music kind of vibe. And I was like, okay, well, Jody Messina was kind of like a huge deal, but
yeah, just a little bit,
just a tiny bit. But I also, I had people tell me that I had to dye my hair blonde and I was too fat and I had to lose weight and all these other things. It's just, you don't see all of the things that people tell you. It's a constant battle of knowing who you are, knowing what you want to say as an artist, and people telling you that everything that you're trying to do is incorrect. And that's kind of, I feel like a lot of artists have experienced that. They have their vision, the things that they believe in, but the industry's telling them, no, be cookie cutter, be this. And the ones who really make it successfully are the ones who say, screw the mold and just go with what their heart is telling them and what they really believe in. And that's kind of the hard part. Sometimes it gets a little bit discouraging because you feel like, you keep pushing and pushing and it feels like you're not making any progress. And it can be really difficult, but there are definitely more positives. I mean, I wouldn't do anything else.
How important is that authenticity role to you to be authentic and be true and stay true to yourself as to kind of where you want to go as an artist and don't be something that you're not? How important is that?
That's really, really important to me. I don't know. I mean, I feel like a very New England vibe is that people aren't going to pretend to like you if they don't. People aren't going to say hi to you if they don't want to say hi to you. It's just that very real, dry, what you see is what you get type thing. And I think I kind of, because I grew up around that, being myself and not being like fake is very important to me. And I also have struggled with a lot of things. I mean, I had a stutter growing up, and I've struggled with anxiety and depression and body image issues because of social media, all those things. And sometimes you feel like you see people online and they look perfect, and you don't see people sometimes that you feel like you can relate to. And so for me, being real and showing the positives and the negatives is really, really important, because it's some things that I feel like I haven't seen in the past. So I want to be relatable as much as I can. I feel like that's one of the most important parts of music, is that you can relate to it.
Yeah, and I think that's really cool, because to come in contact with every artist anybody can think of doing this show every day, and that's one thing I love, is just the authentic side and being able to check out music that we're about to talk about here by Lexi James here on the Backstage Pass. Tell you what, she's going to play one for us. We got to take a quick time out, pay some bills here. I guess the further up you go, the more bills you got to pay here too on the show too as well. We'll come back, let Lexi get that guitar. And, of course, we'll hear a couple of songs here on the Backstage Pass. Of course, look, Valentine's Day is around the corner. And, look, every lady loves to be wined and dined, too, as well. So you like jewelry? I know you do. That's just a big thing. Lexi probably enjoys jewelry. So Valentine's Day around the corner. If you're looking for the perfect gift for the spouse, friend, or family member, Jewelry by Tommy has got you covered. That's the email, burleysystem@yahoo.com. Today, place the order. Got some handcrafted jewelry there. BUEHRLE system at yahoo.com. We'll take a time out for other sponsors, including Bangtail Whiskey. Come back with some exciting announcements, some performances. You never know what we're going to do here on the Backstage Pass. Your word from our friends at Bangtail Whiskey coming back. And, of course, the Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix. Check it out. Here it is. More with Lexi James coming up. Stay tuned. KKTC True Country 99.9 and HighTideCountry.net, and always powered by the Sports Guys podcast.com. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show, today's best country mix, is a 2-hour show playing independent and mainstream country music you know and love. Be sure to check it out at thecadengordonshow.com for more information on the show.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here with Lexi James on the show. Tomorrow we're going to do a doubleheader, and I think the next 2 days we might have a couple of shows in there too. And then on Friday we'll finish up too and say hello to the weekend here on the Backstage Pass. And some good news coming up here, as we'll be announcing over the next few weeks and tomorrow morning. Lexi already knows what we're doing. But the brand is going to be downtown right there, Country Radio Seminar, the Omni Hotel. Looking forward to that, catching up with a lot of great artists there too. Shenandoah coming back and a whole lot more there at the Omni Hotel. And the announcement, should I say it? I guess I can say it right now.
I think you should. I mean, okay. You're already talking about it.
Yeah, and if you're going to be there, you're going to take part in this. We're going to be live. Yes, live. I love live radio with a remote, doing this very thing right here with video and, of course, audio at the Wild Beaver Saloon, Friday, March 1st, 6 to 10. And guess what? Well, we're going to throw a party out there, too. A live broadcast with the Backstage Pass.
Love that.
I've had 15, 20 people already reach out to me, and I didn't even made it public yet until your show today. But Special things happen there too as well. And it's all thanks to Bangtail Whiskey, our friends over at the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix, and of course, jewelry by Tommy. If you'd like to be a sponsor, come on with it. Because like I said, it's going to be branded in a great way. Wild Beaver Saloon, March 1st, right there, downtown Nashville on Commerce. Come join us 6 to 10. And that actually definitely has us lined up too for the CRS coverage there at the Omni Hotel there, February 28th to March 2nd, Nashville, Tennessee. Well, I know you got this great single. I love it. Leaving Me Slowly. Should we start with that one?
Well, I have a different one I was going to play, but we can talk about Leaving Me Slowly.
Let's, I tell you what.
Do you want to talk about this one first?
Let's talk about this one first. You're going to play for us. Tell us the story there, and then we'll talk about Leaving Me Slowly.
So this next one I'm going to do is called Careless, and it's a song I wrote with this amazing songwriter in Nashville. Her name is Melissa Sheridan. And I had been going through kind of an on and off relationship with this guy for a long time. And, you know, he was just one of those guys who would come around when he felt like it and left when he got bored and that kind of thing, and with no regard to anybody else's feelings. And so one day I was just talking to her about how frustrated I was and upset I was, and we started writing the song together about guys who play games with people, or just anybody who plays games with people in romantic relationships, and how it's just really, it's really reckless and it's really careless to do that with somebody's feelings and emotions. So we wrote this song called Careless.
All right, here we go.
You said I could trust you with my heart. You said a lot with your words, but it never really added up. No, it never really added up. Here I am on the bathroom floor, crying again, cause you're driving off in that old Ford, or spinning those tires while I'm laying here alone, wondering, maybe if you care more, you'll be knocking on my door, not me begging you to stay, watching you walk away. Should have been more careful, that way I wouldn't be left picking up the pieces. When it comes to my heart, you're so careless. You're so careless. I thought that you'd be the one to prove me wrong, but you walked away. I chose to stay, and I'm sick and tired of waiting up for you. I'm sick and tired of waiting up. Maybe if you care more, you'll be knocking on my door, not me begging you to stay, watching you walk away. Should have been more careful, that way I wouldn't be left picking up the pieces. When it comes to my heart, you're so careless. You're so careless. Here I am on the bathroom floor, crying again, cause you're driving off in that old Ford, or spinning those tires while I'm laying here alone, wondering, maybe if you cared more, you'll be knocking on my door, not me begging you to stay, watching you walk away. Should have been more careful, that way I wouldn't be left picking up the pieces. When it comes to my heart, you're so careless. You're so careless.
You just keep wanting to hear more. That's the thing. See, when you do a live show, you just want to keep hearing more too. It's like they get that pause at the end. You're like, yep, song's over. But You're like, give me another, give me another. So we'll have her play another one here too. That's what it's going to be like. If you come that week, we're there. It's going to be like, yeah, we're doing this, and you have the co-host takes over too, and they're talking. I'm over there just kind of just wandering off, like I don't, just listen to music. Like, is this really happening? Yeah, it's a live broadcast. And then the song ends. You're like, oh yeah, we got the interview to do too as well. So it's all good here. Lexi James on the Backstage Pass, good stuff there. Leaving Me Slowly, the current single across all the digital platforms there too. We talked about this movement, the challenges you faced being a female in this industry, but the cool side of it too, and I get talked about it too every day because I've actually featured a ton of great female artists on this show that are just rising up the charts every day that you see it. Talk about that female movement. Some of these ladies now that are really impacting country music in such a great way, and we can name them all on like two hands and probably need an extra pair of hands to do it, but this movement is about as good as it's been since the 90s movement there too for these female artists.
Yeah.
Talk about that a little bit and kind of the impact it has on just country music and also the hope it gives you too as a female artist.
Sorry, you cut out a little bit there, but yeah, it's pretty amazing. It's nice to finally see women getting the recognition that they deserve, and because it's no shade to the men at all, because there's amazing male artists too. I mean, Keith Urban is one of my all-time favorite artists. I love Tim McGraw, but there are amazing women out there who haven't for a really long time gotten the recognition that they deserve, and there's a few right now that I really love. Hannah Gray Ellis has a really great song out right now. Tiger Lily Gold has an amazing song out right now. There's really, really incredible women out there, and I feel like, I don't know if it's the industry changing a little bit, or if they finally felt the demand from the audiences to say, hey, play more women, like we want to hear women too. But either way, I'm just happy that it's finally going in that direction. I think it's long overdue.
Yeah, and you look at somebody who's busted their tail, Lainey Wilson, and of course Lindsay L, a guitar shredder, and all these great ladies doing their thing out there. Ashley McBride, Carly Pierce, going on tour now with Tim McGraw, Carly Pierce, and it's just this movement is as strong as I've seen it in many years. Before I take the next time out, talk about this latest single that came out in October. Success it's had so far with spins and plays and things like that, streaming, how it's impacted it. Leaving Me Slowly. Talk about that.
So that song is, I mean, one of the songs that I'm most proud of that I've released. I wrote that one with Steve Vito, and he's a fellow New Englander like me. And this was actually the first song we wrote together. We wrote it over like FaceTime, and we were just talking, and he had this track that he had made, and I thought it was really cool. And then we just kind of started, spitballing ideas off of each other. And it's kind of ironic. I wrote this song a couple years ago, actually, and it relates kind of eerily close to like my breakup that I went through last year. So it's just kind of funny how things come back around. And it's just a song that I'm really, really proud of. It's doing really well. It's getting a lot of ads on like indie radio, and I'm just really thankful. I feel like things are kind of going in a really good direction right now. And I'm very thankful for everybody who's liked the song, streamed the song, bought the song, added the song. It's just been a really cool ride so far. Even though it came out a few months ago, it's still going really well.
Well, that's a good thing too, and it's just January too, so October to January, not too far away, and of course expected to do more great things too. We're going to come back and talk about one that I got a chance to listen to the entire thing. Yeah, we listened to all the songs here on the show. It's part of it, the homework. Ripple in the Water, which I thought was a great 2018 album, your debut album you'd put out with a lot of great songs on there too at the same time. We'll talk about a few more singles, have a little fun with Rapid Fire, and a whole lot more here too on the Backstage Pass. Talk about some shows coming up too as well, and a whole lot more. Man, I hope my voice holds up like for CRS, because a lot of shows until the event, then the event itself, and then you got to keep the instrument just like you guys do with
you gotta start drinking some tea, start doing a steamer, all that stuff. You gotta keep it all fresh.
Got to keep it fresh, no doubt too. Okay, what's fresh too as well, and what's out there too for people is Valentine's Day coming up too. Guys, check this out too. Get your girl something there, significant other, spouse, friend, or family member. It's around the corner if you're looking for the perfect gift for those individuals out there. Jewelry by Tommy has got you covered. Just email burleysystem@yahoo.com, BUEHRLE system@yahoo.com for Jewelry by Tommy. There, get your lady, significant other, family, friend, spouse, family member, just some good handmade, handcrafted jewelry. Don't mess with the other ones. Go to Jewelry by Tommy out there. Quick timeout. More with Lexi James. We'll come back and talk about Ripple in the water, including one of my favorites off of there, Cowboys Always Right Away. We'll talk about that here on the Backstage Pass here, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and the CadenGordonShow.com. Today's best country mix. A word from those sponsors coming right back on the Backstage Pass, KKTC True Country 99.9, also HighTideCountry.net. Stay tuned.
The Caden Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at thecadengordonshow.com. Again, that is thecadengordonshow.com.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here, Lexi James on the show for a Tuesday. Hard to believe just one more day in January. I don't know where time is getting away from us.
I know, and I feel like I've seen a lot of memes of people joking about how January is going by really slow, and I'm like, I don't know. I feel like I didn't even experience January.
No. The cold weather can take a hike, but as far as the days, just slow down.
Yes.
Single across the platform, leaving me slowly from Lexi out there too. We'll have a performance coming up here in just a few minutes. Talk about Ripple in the Water, because I really thought it was a great sound, and it really fit you and a lot of these great songs that really made this record too, and how hard it is to choose, 9-10 songs that go on a record too. This came out, I know, debut album 2018. Let me start with probably my favorite off of there, Cowboys Always Right Away.
Yes. Yeah, I think that's my favorite too. I mean, it was a cool experience because, there were some songs that I wrote and some songs that I didn't write, because I'm just I love to write, but I'm also a believer in a great song is a great song. And Cowboys was just a great song. I mean, it was actually co-written by Ingrid Andress. And and I heard it and I was like, I feel like a lot of girls, maybe a lot of guys too, have felt that way. I mean, there are those people that in your life that are never going to change, and you're not going to change them. And if they're just going to bounce around from one person to the next and move on when they're bored, they're always going to do that. And that's the whole metaphor in there, is that Cowboys always ride away, and those people are not going to change. And that's something that I've experienced quite a bit of, and I'm sure other people have too. And I think that's my favorite off of that album too. Top three, definitely.
So I'm probably going to throw another curveball at you here too and say the second favorite one, right up there, 1A, 1B, but I'm going to do a little suspense. We'll leave a tease there until you play. We'll have another performance here because she probably knows what I'm going to talk about here in just a second. But if you got the guitar handy, let's go and do another one. What's the dealer's choice? I always say single, something else. What are we going to hear?
So this song that I'm going to do next is it's so hard because I'm proud of all of my songs for different reasons. And they express different periods of my life and different things that I went through. But this song has just stuck with me. It's probably my favorite song I've ever written. It's called Boomerang. And I actually I was down at Tim Pan South in Nashville. And I actually submitted this one because you can submit and then they pick the finalists. And if you're voted and you win, you get to actually play at one of the shows at Tim Pan South, which was a huge deal. And I was lucky enough that my song was picked as a finalist and I got voted in and I got to play. And this was the song that I got picked on. And I wrote this one also with Melissa Sheridan, who I wrote that other one that I played you with. And it's about again, it's about kind of that same guy that I wrote about, but it was at a different point. And it's about how that whole, he comes back when he wants to, he leaves when he wants to, and he's just going to keep that cycle going. And so we had this, actually, I think the metaphor in this one started out as being something about a Swiss Army knife. and it somehow morphed into a boomerang from there. I don't even know how we got from Swiss Army knife to boomerang, but I remember that being the start of it. So yeah, this one's about, and I'm sure a lot of people have that experience too, that person who just keeps coming back no matter how many times you let them go. So this one's called Boomerang.
Here we go.
I don't miss you, but I miss you so bad. I don't want to, but I want you back. If I drive to your place tonight, we both know where it's gonna go. Wanna tell you that it's over, but I know that I'm not strong when I see your eyes. Fall right back in your arms, getting closer and closer. You fix things just as easily as you break them. You pull me in just to push me away. And I shouldn't say boomerang, and I'm right back. But I know that I shouldn't be getting home back. Every time you say my name, I stay. I shouldn't say, but I stay boomerang. I just hate to, but I love you so bad. I could blame you, but I blame me for coming back. I could drive for 1,000,000 miles and still wouldn't make me forget. Is it over? I need closure. I can't fight something deep inside that's taking me back to your house tonight. You fix things just as easily as you break them. You pull me in just to push me away. I shouldn't say boomerang, and I'm right back. I know that I shouldn't be getting home back. Every time you say my name, I stay. And I shouldn't say, but I say boomerang. Last night was the first time I didn't cry, when I realized you don't just be that guy. You can fix things just as easily as you break them. You pull me in just to push me away. I shouldn't say boomerang, and I'm right back when I know that I shouldn't be getting home back. Every time you say my name, I stay. And I shouldn't say, but I stay boomerang. Why do I stay? I shouldn't stay, and you always stay boomerang.
We just need to have like your own. It's what it is, like a little concert here on the show. But like, just if you get to Nashville, just come out there and it's going to be a party. Like you're just going to sing and do that.
Yeah, right?
I'm going to talk and say a few words, and I'm going to shut up. And it's like, you know what? We're just going to have artist after artist after artist, and you're in the mix right there too. So if you're there, count us in for CRS coverage, because I just want to shut up and like hear you guys sing. That's what I want to do. So I don't know if that's good for a show, but it could be a good situation out there too as well. No, we got to have somebody's got to host this thing, right? I got to host it, so it's keep it keep it in order. Things go to as well out there. But good times coming up. I love that song.
Yep.
I can't tell you how much I love that song, Boomerang, out there too, which is great. I was going to talk to you about a few more tunes too as well, and definitely we'll get to that in a second. But I got to do some rapid fire because I want to have a little fun with you here, which is just something we do in the show to get to know you more on a personal basis. And
Right, exactly.
Questions are
And
coming. So
I can sing and I can crack a joke every now and then, but
it's all good. The good thing about it is no right or wrong answers when it comes down to this here.
Thank you.
All right. In Nashville, I know for me, I'm getting some restaurant requests right now to like where to go. And I did Martin's Barbecue a couple of years ago. The pizza joint I still hadn't found. What are some of your favorite restaurants to eat at when you're in Music City?
Okay. Sorry, you're kind of cutting out a little bit.
You're good. You're going to say, what are some of your favorite restaurants to eat at when you're in Nashville, as far as the restaurants go? Having a little technical difficulty here too as well. I'll tell you what, I'm going to take a quick timeout here on the show. We'll get a timeout here, see if we can reconnect here too as well. The audio can get a little bit better here on the show. We'll take a timeout for our friends at Bangtail Whiskey and the CadenGordonShow.com too as well. Stay tuned.
Ooh.
More to come with Lexi James. Hang tight.
That's a good one.
The Caden Gordon Show is a 2-hour show playing the best in country music. So check it out at thecadengordonshow.com. Again, that is thecadengordonshow.com.
The Bangtail pour is comprised of a sweet corn mash base. The front has a subtle sweetness and not too sharp. It has notes of a medium char or white oak for a smoky flavor in the middle, and the tail has a super smooth and warm finish.
Go behind the scenes with some of the biggest artists in music today with the Backstage Pass, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. Join Brandon Morrill and his co-host Kirsty Krause as they talk to rising stars and legends about their music careers. Listen to their latest tracks and learn fun facts about the men and women behind the music you love. And be sure to tune into the Backstage Pass Monday through Friday from 3:30 to 6:30, powered by the SportsGuysPodcast.com. And welcome into the Backstage Pass. And back here with Lexi James on the show. I think that connection's probably a little bit better now, audio.
Yes, it is. Sorry about that. It's probably on my end.
You're good. Not a problem there, too. That's why we take the breaks, come back, and reestablish the connection, too. Now, I was saying I got to keep hosting this show when it comes down to it because it's going to be busy down there at Country Radio Seminar. And if you're in town, just fall right in line and just in the mix, come in there, pick and play. And I'll just listen to music, and then we'll let Alan host the show or something else.
There you go. That's perfect.
Have a few drinks, have a good time there as we're going to be Country Radio Seminar February 28th to March the 2nd in beautiful Nashville, Tennessee. And, of course, out there, too, the Wild Beaver Saloon broadcasting live March the 1st from 6 to 10. That's going to be a big party. Come out and hang out with us out there, too, with all of us at the Backstage Pass with yours truly and Alan Price, our talent coordinator for the show. Back here with Lexi James. I wanted to ask you about this before I get into rapid fire because I'll save that question for a little bit. But
sure.
Another song off of the album was the title track itself, which I think for me was like 1A, 1B because it had such a deep meaning to it. Ripple in the Water. Talk about that one for the fans out there.
So that's one of my favorites too. And to me, it kind of goes off of what we were talking about before about how this movement of female artists, it's like all it takes is just one person or just one action or just one thing that can totally shake up everything, can change your life, can change the world. And that song really resonated with me because I was thinking, all it takes is that one ripple in the water. It can cause that domino effect and change your life. And I kind of related that to like music because that's the case a lot of the time. It's people, it's years and years and years of work, but oftentimes it's that one thing that just happens to go viral or just happens to be a hit that sends somebody into a lifelong career.
Let's talk about another one off there too, because this was really another just great storytelling. That's so good about music is it really hits you in a way that it's just great storytelling out there too. I love it so much too because the song really speaks to somebody. 20 to 25. Let's dive into that one.
So that one's about, and it's funny because now that I'm in my 30s, it's even more poignant to me because a lot of the time you grow up and you think that your 20s are going to be the best years of your life. You know, it's going to be the most fun. And everybody I've talked to, like right before I turned 30 and now being in my 30s, it's like your 20s are so weird. It's like you're really just like fumbling around trying to figure out life, and you're trying to figure out who you are. You change up your hair, you change up your clothes, you change all the music that you listen to. You might have 20 different jobs trying to find out what you want to do. But those are the moments that you find yourself, because the more that you're trying all these different things and going down all these different paths, that's when you're going to find who you really are.
Yeah, and I'll tell you another one. I'd be remiss if I didn't ask about this because, man, I get this sometimes too. And it's just one of those things to where it's cold outside, you want to go do something, or it's too hot outside, you still want to go do something. But this is a great song too because I love it. And it was during the time we all wanted to get out of the house. Cabin Fever. Let's talk about this one.
Yeah. So, you know what? It's so funny because it took on a whole new meaning. I mean, I released that one, I think it was 2020, but I had written it a little bit before that, and that's another one I wrote with Melissa Sheridan. And one day we were just talking. I actually think that was the first song that we ever wrote together, and it was the middle of February, and I was just talking about how I was sick of winter, and she was saying how she was sick of the cold too. And so she just started playing a little bit of guitar, and we just started talking about, let's talk about how everybody's sick of winter. Let's write a song about being ready for summer and the warm weather. And then that's how Cabin Fever came about.
It comes to light. Like I said, never know where songs are going to come from too as well.
Exactly.
All right. We'll get back to the rapid fire here. When you're down in Nashville, for me, I got all these restaurants I want to get to go to, and some places I want to get out there and say, I want to eat here, eat there. Look, I got to have the Hattie B's chicken sandwich. It's just something I got out of line last year, got back in. I was like, man, that just always around the corner, especially on Broadway, right next to Bridgestone, where CRS is at the Omni. But I'm going to have the sandwich. What are some of your favorite restaurants to go to when you're in town?
Oh, man. You know what? It's been a little bit since I've been back in Nashville, and I miss it, honestly. So the one that really pops, if you're looking for something, I remember one time I was down there with my parents, and we were like, we keep hearing about this restaurant. It's more expensive, but we keep hearing it's really good, so we're going to go try it. And it's called Cane Prime. Ooh. And it's like a steakhouse, but and it is a little bit pricier, but if you're looking for just like a splurge night, it's so worth it. So worth it.
Well, so we got a steakhouse, and I owe somebody a good steak dinner.
Right.
Be the spot we end up to. All right, hobbies wise, when you're not doing music, what do you like to do for fun?
Oh man, you know what? I am actually kind of a homebody, which is pretty boring. And one of my goals this year is to kind of get out, because I do a lot of music, and I'm actually a full-time student. I'm in college online, so it takes up a lot of my time. But I'm a big true crime documentary and podcast person. Love that stuff.
Got into a podcast just like this, so there you go. See,
there you go.
You found this one out there too. Got into. Appreciate everybody listening out there too. All right, I'll do this one here. It's always fun. If you were not a musician, what other occupation would you have to do for a living?
Ooh, that one's always tough because I quite literally can't see myself doing anything other than music. But I have a couple of answers, because I'm a very artsy person. So I've always said if I had to pick a different like artistic talent other than singing, I would want to be a dancer. I love watching like choreographed dances and stuff like that. I think it's so cool. I wish I could do that. But I think, I'm going to school for psychology, and my goal right now is to be a mental health therapist. So I think that, given that's something that I could see myself doing. But music is still my end goal, my number one, for sure.
I love that. Love that stuff too. No doubt about it. All right, we'll finish with this one. Always fun. The first time you stepped behind a microphone, could be any level of the music career. What was the first song you ever sang when you stepped behind a microphone? School, anything, cover, no matter what.
It was a school talent show. And I was, oh my gosh, 7th grade, I think, 8th grade, something like that. And I sang Reflection by Christina Aguilera from the Mulan soundtrack. That was the first song I ever sang in front of anybody.
Well, I tell you what, she's come a long way since that one right there, the Christina
Right.
Aguilera track 2. And of course, Leaving Me Slowly is the current single out there across all the digital platforms. And someone we're keeping an eye on, or two eyes, no doubt about it here, for the future of country music out there too. I just want to say again, thank you for being with me here. It's awesome to set this up too. I cannot wait. Come join the party if you're there in Music City. If you get down to Nashville for the big CRS event, we'll be there live, Wild Beaver Saloon, March the 1st, 6 to 10. Come on out, spread the word to your friends. And, of course, at the Omni beginning Wednesday, February 28th, presented by our friends over at Bangtail Whiskey and the Caden Gordon Show.com. Today's best country mix. And, of course, out there, jewelry by Tommy. And thanks to KKTC 99.9 and our friends at HighTideCountry.net. See, I told you this was easy. Hope you had fun.
This is so fun. I love it.
We got to do this again.
Yes. Yes. Let's do it.
We're going to definitely do this again. Lexi James on the show. Thanks for being with us. We'll see you guys tomorrow with a double header on the show here. Texas Two-Step we'll do here Wednesday. And then, of course, Thursday, 2 more shows. Friday, a single show there. And we'll call it a weekend there. And, of course, so we've already put the calendar up for next week, too, as well. Kane and Cox coming by and a whole lot more as we count down to Country Radio Seminar there coming up February 28th to March the 1st at the Omni Hotel in Nashville, Tennessee. We'll see you guys tomorrow on the show. Until then, have a great night. Thanks to our sponsors. See you soon.